Hello and welcome to DTC Podcast. Today we're joined by Hans Harris, Growth Director at BrüMate, the nine-figure drinkware and cooler brand, as well as Sam Barati, VP of Customer Success at Tapcart. We'll be diving into the strategy behind BrüMate's wildly successful mobile app, which leads all sales and distribution channels in conversion rate, AOV, and customer LTV. In this episode, we'll cover why BrüMate's app is Hans' favorite sales and distribution channel, the features and strategies that drive the app's success for both revenue and customer experience, Sam's insights on contests, giveaways, and the best ways to drive app downloads from across Tapcart's ecosystem. Stick around to the end to hear about my first ever app-based startup. Why tap an app? We're brewing up resilient revenue. On with the show.
Mobile apps have definitely been around for a while, but they're continuing to grow. When you think about the most important device to any human, it's their phone. They look at it 150 times a day. Having a mobile app really gives you a billboard on that device. It gives you a ton of awareness, lock screen advantage. It ultimately allows you to build a relationship with that customer that other channels aren't able to. With the data that we're seeing and just the consumer trends, it will continue to grow throughout the Shopify and just the DTC ecosystem.
If you care about pushing top line revenue, you should care about developing resilient revenue coming through your app, because it just unlocks so many ways that you can scale the business that I think you'd be unable to without that.
It's the DTC Podcast. Today, we are talking about mobile apps with a drinkware brand that's done over 9 figures, which is just fantastic. Hans, I feel like tumblers are having an absolute moment in culture this year. What's that like, and what's BrüMate's position within that space?
It's been crazy. It's been crazy good. Obviously, Stanley had this meteoric rise fueled by, honestly, TikTok influencers with their straw tumbler. It's been a little while now that brands have had a chance to innovate, come up with their own version of it. BrüMate did. We took our sweet time because it's packed full of awesome features, and we fixed the one nagging issue that we always heard, which is if you spill it over, you've got your drink all over the floor. So 100% leak-proof tumbler. But honestly, it's really cool, the white space that Stanley created, and how drinkware is having this pop culture moment where you've all had a cabinet somewhere in your home just full of miscellaneous cups and water bottles, but you never really talked about it. It wasn't, a social thing or something to flaunt or talk highly of your collection. But now they're collector's items. It's like Pokemon, got to catch them all, got to have every new colorway that comes out, and it's the tumbler wars. So, but we're all doing well.
You were kind of growing off even the Yeti trends before this, and setting your own trends, obviously. But you're not Johnny come latelys to the tumbler game. You've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, no, there's been a few waves in drinkware. Swell was one a good while ago. Then Hydro Flask, had their wave. BrüMate had a wave. We came to market with the first insulated slim can cooler right around the time that White Claw was taken off. And then Stanley's had their big moment with the straw tumbler. So it's funny how cyclical drinkware is with the trends.
So as a drinkware company, what brought you guys to be like, we got to build a mobile app? What was your journey to the mobile app?
So I think it had a lot to do with our customer, our consumer, who they were. We started really early, and this predates my time at BrüMate, but we created a Facebook VIP group in the real early days. It is now tens of thousands of members strong, and they are absolutely voracious in a good way. And I think that got the group thinking about what are ways to delight and add value, even more value to those most loyal customers. And I think that's where the app started, but it's become so much more than that over the years. And we've really leaned into it as a, cornerstone part of our both acquisition and retention strategy. But I think it really comes down to ways that you can add value to a customer that transcend just, paid social and own channel communications or anywhere else you may show up.
I want to dive into that more, but to bring Sam into the conversation here, you brought BrüMate to the table here. What about BrüMate makes them such an ideal sort of partner in your mind?
Well, they have, a really strong following, and drinkware, as Hans alluded to earlier, is a fast-growing category. So, we always like to find brands that may not necessarily fit like the app profile at a glance, like you would argue, why would a drinkware company need a mobile app? And then really turn that story around and make them into a huge success. And I think with the strategy that BrüMate has put together with the help of our team, they've actually made a huge success story out of a mobile app and continue to really push the boundaries of what is possible. And I'm sure Hans will get into some of the stories that he's seen with the app today. But yeah, it's been really interesting to see how they've been able to take this channel and really thrive with it.
It's a sneaky intimate category, the drinkware category, because we all are on the, everyone needs to be, is trying to hydrate, needs to be more hydrated. Everyone has something that they're carrying around with them at all times. So why,
if not multiple?
Yeah, if not multiple, why shouldn't it be a status symbol? And like, do you think that's like at a high level? Do you think that the deep connection that that customers have to their beverages is one of the other reasons that helps make the app work or make the app make sense?
More and more so, but I think it's been this renaissance of, again, like that didn't used to really be thought of or talked about. Everybody just thought drinkware is like utility and it would do its job, but it wasn't much more than that. And recently it has become so much more than that for all the reasons I already mentioned and more. That it is an extent. It's part of your outfit for the day. It's a complement to the drink. It accentuates your hydration, keeps your beverages cold or warm or whatever temperature. Lets you partake in. We've done this thing recently, a campaign that we're calling the 3 Drink Club, because we've seen a lot of our VIP group members posting pictures of like, this is my lineup for the day. I've got my energy drink in one of our can coolers. I've got my water in the water bottle here, and I've got my iced coffee, in this other tumbler. And we've really started to like lean into, that's an interesting feature of people's day, is their like drink lineup and all the vessels that help them accomplish their hydration and caffeination goals for a day.
Yeah, I think drinkware has just become cool and fashionable. And so if you want to be up to date with the latest and greatest, the app is a great tool to really be up to date with everything that's going on with BrüMate. And any new campaign they sent out a push notification, lands directly on the lock screen, deep links to the product or collection of choice, and really just helps connect the dots between the consumer and the brand. And so, I could see, why more and more of their users are gravitating to the mobile app.
Let's just jump into the brass tacks a little bit about what the app is actually doing for BrüMate. Because I think one of the big questions that everyone has about building a mobile app is how can you be sure you're actually adding incremental revenue? You're not, merging from other channels. And I do want to get into more tactical stuff about how, you've made your app great. But like, how do you know it's great? I think from a high level.
We've always thought it's great. We recently won the first annual Tappy Award for best mobile app design, which helps validate that claim, and we're super proud of that accolade. But we know it's the best. The customers tell us, and we see that more often than not, when we get a customer into the app earlier in their life cycle, they're a higher margin, more frequent, more recent purchaser that becomes more of a brand loyalist than those that are purely exposed to our mix of other own channels or paid media alone. And that's part of what builds this really resilient brand that can travel cross category. We sell a ton of coolers as well. The app helps us craft this brand that people can really become part of and honestly sell themselves into other categories.
Sounds no-brainer-ish in this case. Like you've just really built. I think one of the great parts, one of the really salient points that you mentioned right away was that you built this from a group that existed as well, right? You didn't just sort of have the app and be like, okay, now everyone get it. You had built a community. And then you used this as a way to facilitate that community that really existed. I bet that's a success point.
Yeah, for sure. And it's it works both ways. We when we get people into the app and they're bought more into the brand, then they become a member in our VIP group, or vice versa. We get folks into our VIP group who then everyone else in the VIP group is talking about, the app, this and the app, and we offer so many of those exclusive, unique experiences in the app alone that you can't get on our D2C storefront. So it goes both ways of you get someone in the app, they become the brand loyalist, or somebody is a brand loyalist, you get them to the app and then they're only going to come back for more.
And then the other buzzword everyone cares about these days is efficiency. And as I'm like looking over, our talking points here and what we've discussed previously, it's like you don't have to reacquire these people when you have them in the app, which is, I think, is a big part as we head into 18 different reasons why ads are about to get more expensive.
Yeah, it's true. And on that point, right, my role at BrüMate as director of growth is mostly focused on net new customer acquisition, but we find that the app, because of the quality and relative, inexpensive nature of that revenue that we can count on, that's built a super resilient base of revenue on a monthly basis. It actually allows us to be a lot more aggressive in paid acquisition, acquiring new customers when we have all this revenue that's coming to us, nearly freely acquired. And yeah, of course, without the app, we'd have some amount of that coming through own channels anyways and through other retention vehicles. But it's actually pretty incredible as a growth marketer to see what power that retention and the quality of that revenue, the resilience of that revenue can actually do in unlocking additional scale on the growth side.
Anything to add there, Sam?
Yeah, I would say one of the big value props of an app is the retention savings. Push notifications, they don't cost based on frequency or customer count. So being able to save that money off of SMS or retention-based paid ads allows you to focus that money more towards acquisition and then use push notifications as one of your primary retention marketing channels. And because it gets such great lock screen advantage, it's very easy to connect to calls to action within the app itself. It's quite effective at driving revenue. And so, as Hans was alluding to earlier, that increase in revenue, as well as the reduction in retention costs, really gives you a margin of profitability that other channels can't provide.
That's so cool. Yeah. And then reinvesting that into other like top of funnel efforts, for instance, like because this
Exactly.
it becomes a full distribution funnel itself. So, and then you can just add more and more people to it and then reinvest top of funnel to bring more people in. Are there, what are some interesting top of funnel things that have been enabled from being able to have this reliable distribution channel?
The biggest overall theme is, well, you hear a lot of advertisers on D2C Twitter crying about, oh, my CPMs are so high and performance is so bad and woe is me. We can't trust Meta anymore. I don't have that perspective. And it's not that I'm unaffected by what they're seeing. It's that I have plenty of additional margin to lean into it and say, we can weather the storm. We can continue to expand these channels beyond what I think a brand that didn't have this quantity and quality of revenue would be able to do without breaking the bank, right? That's what I think it really comes down to. So in a way, it's just a huge safety blanket when it comes to allowing us to scale the most expensive channels. But then we're also, offering exclusive experiences. Like today, we launched our Memorial Day sale, our kickoff to summer sale, we're calling it. And one prong of that promotion is, in order to get a discount on our coolers, you have to go to the app. A discount's exclusive to the app. And we're running that in, paid social prospecting as a way to try and get, app downloads of non-customers, leads, get them into the app from first purchase. And so it's things like that we can use to continue to build that resilient revenue base coming from the app, but also take advantage of opportunities in paid social and our other growth channels.
What sort of ratios are you seeing of purchasers to app downloaders? And what are you doing? I think you just mentioned a great way that you're incentivizing more people to download the app. But what does that ratio kind of look like? What do you strive for?
We don't have a specific ratio goal in mind. We have app download growth goals on a monthly and yearly basis, which, by the way, we're blowing out of the water. We're like triple, quadruple our forecast where we thought we would be year to date. So I think we need to set the bar even higher, if I'm being honest with you. But on a given month, we're talking something like 15% of total purchases coming through the app. As far as app download, net new app downloads, it's a solid double figure, percentage app download growth at the moment. But that's because we have invested so much to prioritize getting those app downloads.
And then what can you say about your omni-channel mix at this point? Like, how big of a chunk is the app distribution channel taking in terms of your ecosystem? Are you able to say?
Well, revenue-wise, it fluctuates, but minimum 10%, I think high end. And depending on if we're doing app-exclusive product drops and promotions like this, it might be 20% of revenue on a given month. So it's super solid. We know that the AOV of those app customers is higher, and you combine that with the recency and frequency, they're coming back even in month, same month, placing multiple orders, really helps the LTV of those app acquired customers versus those that we don't get into the app or haven't yet gotten into the app.
Anything to add on that, Sam?
Yeah, I think those trends are pretty consistent across all the different industries we serve. On average, we're seeing customers on the low end do about 11% of total sales, all the way up to 20 to 25. We do have some outliers that go north of 30 to 40, but they're a very app-centric brand. So they push their customer base to that channel. And also their demographic very much aligns with a mobile app customer base. So, it very much depends on the throughput that brands are putting into promoting their mobile app externally. And that's where the different incentives like app exclusive products, sales, giveaways can really help drive anything from organic downloads to incentivized downloads that really don't cost a whole lot of money to get. Obviously, we do recommend paid ads where they're applicable, but for the most part, we're really pushing folks to drive incentives as a means of driving downloads and then promoting those on existing channels like organic, social, web. I'm actually on BrüMate's website right now, and I see the 10% off coolers pop up on the desktop site. So a great way to really help drive downloads.
And hey, giveaways, that's one that I really want to get into. We, I think, could do amazing things with giveaways to drive app downloads, but just it goes to show like you don't need to do everything. Like we mostly just do app exclusive colorways or app exclusive product drops, or in this case, like part of a promotion being app exclusive. And that alone is enough to drive like significant growth in app and a significant chunk of revenue for the business on a monthly basis.
You mentioned giveaways. What have you done? It's funny, where I'm releasing a podcast with my friend Van Oaks, who runs a giveaway agency. I think you guys know, may work with.
Love Van.
That's coming out this Monday, actually. But what have you done on that? Because I think it's something we haven't talked about on the podcast really ever. This idea of these larger scale giveaways. What's worked there?
I have some good stories. I mean, I've seen a brand like Culture Kings, when they first launched their app, give away a fully wrapped Lamborghini. $350,000 sports car to one lucky winner. And I'm not recommending that anyone needs to give away a Lamborghini, but that's kind of one of the bigger stories. Another one of our customers, the Messi store, particularly right out around World Cup, they were doing signed jerseys, signed soccer balls, which, the fans were just going over crazy. You'd see a surge of downloads come in. And then we recommend that you actually highlight the winner through a push notification and really give that person some notoriety to the fan base, promote their Instagram, etc. And so it was a great type of campaign. We also see smaller stuff that's a little bit more evergreen, like win your wish list. So being able to use a wish list, you have to install the app, create an account or log in. So you're getting all of that great data. And then you're forcing them to add products that they actually like, which you can then use to retarget later. But then one lucky winner will actually get, $1,000 or $5,000 off that wish list donated for free, which ends up being a fun opportunity. And then I've even seen folks give away like summer trips to Italy or Coachella, things like that. So they come in all shapes and sizes. But yeah, giveaways are quite popular.
Win your wish list, for instance, like what a high ROI thing to do. Right?
Yeah.
You're spending thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars of promotional dollars to generate your revenue. If that can download even hundreds, not even thousands of app downloads, you're seriously ROI positive.
Over the holidays, you got to do like a Santa's list, like for all the people that buy these as gifts. If you do one of like win your family's gifts or something like that by filling out a wish list or whatever, because you're getting that, then you can retarget them about the things they want. It's like giving a kid a Toys R Us catalog at Christmas and just
Yeah.
Super cool. I wanted to ask push notifications efficacy versus something like SMS in terms of engagements. How do those two are they comparable in terms of the engagement rates you see?
Push is far better, and it's actually the gap we see is widening. That push is far better. Listen, it depends on your strategy too. I've seen a lot of brands. I would love to be in this category. We're not yet, but maybe there's potential. that build conversational relationships, or they're sending inspirational push notifications or funny, humorous push notifications, and things that are on brand that help again build that relationship with their customer, keep their brand top of mind if and when that person is, I need to buy something for this or myself or somebody's gift, whatever. I would love to do more of that, but just as far as like, on a per send basis, infinitely cheaper, significantly cheaper, right? Engagement gap is widening. It's really a no-brainer. So when we come up with like own channel communication strategies for any campaign launch, it's usually kind of push first, email second, SMS, mostly just due to the cost is like bottom of that list. Not nearly as scalable, we find.
You mentioned at the outset that you were working on your memorial. I bet you're just heading into Tumblr season. Like we're heading in, like, Tumblr season's year round, but it's really your tumblers are going to be on display, and your coolers are going to be on display on your docks and everything. It's Memorial Day season for you. Walk us through the anatomy of how you're employing the app in your Memorial Day sale.
Yeah, so we have two main categories: drinkware and coolers. I don't want to get into like every little detail, but we'll give you enough here. But basically, we've always tried for a promo or a new product launch to have something that's app exclusive. That's been just our rinse and repeat playbook, is something's going to be app exclusive. In this case, coolers are our highest AOV item, and we know that our apps customers are our highest LTV customers. So let's combine highest AOV, highest LTV, hopefully make some magic happen. That was the main reason for putting our coolers, the most expensive products, app exclusive with a discount. But to your point, like, drinkware season, it's all around. But yes, it's like when people are starting to go outside, it's more visible out there in the world, but it's actually the start of cooler season, really. This is when coolers start to pick up and the business blended AOV starts to really, really shift. We tend to have drinkware for just about any season, from cold beverages to warm ones.
And will you have will you be using exclusives on the app, specifically exclusive products?
We do, when we have, or early access at least, like when we'll do collabs with influencers that they'll have a collection we put out in collaboration with them. We almost always offer at least app early access that, hey, if you download the app, you get first run at this collection, which there's super limited quantities. So they always sell out within a matter of hours. And it's like, hey, if you're in that, you can get it. But then a lot of the products that aren't a collab that we own, our like core collection, will put a color that's exclusive in the app. We've got, I think, just off the top of my head, probably 6 to maybe upside 10 like app exclusive products that you can expect from us for the duration of this year. And that's what's on the calendar right now. So that part is very well tested and proven, validated, and a huge part of every time we go to market with something.
Anything to add there, Sam, on promo strategies or?
Yeah, I mean, I think app exclusives is a great one. Same thing with early access. We see a lot of brands doing that consistently. It's something we recommend for the app launch, and also as an ongoing strategy that you want to do once a quarter. Granted, if you're going to be sending your best customers to this channel, making them feel like VIPs is important. And so having some consistency there, I think adds a lot of value to the channel. Also, a lot of the drop heavy brands where every 2 weeks or something that they're going to be doing a drop, they tend to do, maybe anything from like 12 to 24 to 48 hours of early access. And then you start to build those habits with the consumers themselves. And the ones that are, the super fans will have to ensure that they download the app and make sure to purchase the size or the color that they're looking for before things sell out. So it tends to work really well. And we're always seeing what new customers do in terms of pushing the boundaries of running app exclusives.
Hans, with you guys, is there an aspect of scarcity as well? You're not traditionally a drop brand. You do drop new products, but does scarcity come into it with you guys, or do you kind of have a lot of inventory?
No, we've actually had a really hard time keeping inventory on the shelves thanks to Stanley and the trend they set. But we didn't used to be as drop heavy, and actually got pretty like bloated on inventory and figured out that it was really good quality revenue. If we could do limited quantities, sell out super quick, we could count on it, and then just continue to try and push the limits of what we could order for a given release and still expect to sell out within hours to like days. So that's what we're continuing to play with. But I guess I didn't anticipate us being a drop model business, and we're certainly not, but it is becoming more and more a part of the business, and it's largely through the app.
One of the other things, just to chat, just make sure we cover it, is all the different ways that you are driving downloads. We mentioned the glossy, the high profile contests and giveaways and things like that. What are the other like block and tackle ways that you're getting customers to download the app?
Again, our Facebook VIP group, it's just an echo chamber of app. So that's like shooting fish in a barrel. All of our other own channels, email and SMS, all tend to point towards the app. We haven't done nearly as much with like QR codes or other ways to bridge the physical to digital, world of driving app downloads. We still haven't played with like paid social app download campaigns, but I'm super interested in it. This is something that I think like second half of the year, there's no reason for us not to test into. But we've had really good success just communicating through our other own channels and on the website. So pop-ups, download the app. And like I said, we're posting huge, growth month over month in app downloads. So something's working. And again, like we're not doing anything crazy. We're not doing anything that's just like totally outlandish. This is pretty much the playbook that any brand does. And hopefully you can expect to achieve similar results, I guess. But yeah, nothing crazy. I don't know, Sam, you probably hear some interesting app download campaign ideas.
I think you touched on all the big ones, like really giving the app good real estate across your external marketing channels, social, website, email, SMS. Those are all like the basic ones. Inbox mailers are also really valuable. Like we have customers that will put like a little slip inside the box.
True.
Has a
Packing
QR
slips.
code. Yeah, that says, take 20% off your next purchase. Usually when a customer receives an item that they bought online, they're really excited with that unboxing experience. So piggybacking off of that excitement is also helpful. Also, post-purchase flows on web tends to be very effective as well. So that post-purchase page will say, hey, thanks for your order. Now download our app for real-time order tracking or to get X off your next purchase, et cetera, et cetera. So those are two other channels we've had a lot of customers find success, and always pushing the boundaries on what else can drive app downloads. But, I think the staple ones are very plug and play and don't take a lot of effort to execute.
And if you're at the really high scale, you can be like Van and do a Tesla truck that is also a snowmobile.
Yeah.
Or Liquid Death. I see Liquid Death's giving away a jet, a fighter jet nonetheless.
Oh, interesting. Is there any, just one quick question about the content that you're sending? Are almost all the push notifications transactional or product related, or are you mixing in like brand content or sort of more storytelling stuff into your communication mix?
The foundation is for sure like campaign oriented, product oriented, but we're getting more and more into thematic stuff, seasonal stuff, just, even like I said, funny or irreverent or whatever it may be. And I think we'll gradually continue to push on that and see what it can do for us. Like I said, personally, I would love for us to be more like that. And there's no reason we can't be. But once again, can see a ton of success just in the basics of transactional, letting people know of new, promotions, new product drops, nothing too crazy.
Okay, so just imagine all of the other 9-figure brand growth directors out there listening or founders. And they're skeptical. They're like, I don't know if my brand needs an app. Make the case to them with some caveats as to why they should build an app.
I'm going to put my growth hat, my acquisition hat back on. And it's like, if you care about pushing top line revenue, then you should care about developing resilient revenue coming through your app, because it just unlocks so many ways that you can scale the business that I think you'd be unable to without that chat channel supporting. If it's 10% of your monthly revenue, 20% high end, maybe even higher, that's coming to you at a very, very, very cheap cost.
Well said. Resilient's a really good word. And I think it's probably a word on a lot of people's minds right now as we kind of batten down the hatches. Definitely. in an unsure environment. My previous podcast was called The Robust Marketer. So it seems like a robust approach to revenue as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Sam, any closing words on where you see the app space sort of going in the next little while?
Yeah, mobile apps have definitely been around for a while, but they're continuing to grow. They're getting more popular in the D2C space. Everyone's getting very serious about omni-channel experiences. And so you really want to be able to diversify across web, retail, mobile app, marketplace. And that's where really, when you think about the most important device to any human on planet Earth, it's their phone, right? And they spend the most time on it. They look at it 150 times a day. So having a mobile app really gives you a billboard on that device. So it gives you a ton of awareness, gives you lock screen advantage, and allows
It's uninterrupted.
Yeah.
Like, you can't say the same about a Facebook ad. They're getting pelted with 100 other messages at the exact same time.
And it ultimately allows you to build a relationship with that customer that other channels aren't able to accomplish. And so we see more and more brands starting to gravitate towards mobile apps. And I think our mission is to really find ways to extend the app across multiple channels. How does it interface with web, retail, et cetera? And so, we're really bullish on making this the centerpiece of our customers' businesses. And I think with the data that we're seeing and just the consumer trends, it will continue to grow throughout the Shopify and just the D2C ecosystem.
Nice, guys. Super good connecting today. If people want to find out more, like if people want to reach out to you guys, people reach out to the individuals on the podcast all the time. Hans, where do you recommend they find you?
It is going to be easiest to find me on Twitter or X. I'm still going to call it Twitter, but at Hans Harris, MKTG might be in the details of this podcast.
I'll throw it in the notes.
Cool.
How about you, Sam?
I'm not much of a Twitter guy, but you can always hit me up on LinkedIn. My full name is Sam Barati, so look me up on there, or you can send me an email, sam@tapcart.co. Always love to talk to new folks in the D2C space and have a conversation.
I have a kinship with Tapcart because I mentioned my previous podcast, which was the Robust Marketer, but I actually had an app company many years ago in like 2013 called Tap for Tap. It was a tap exchange for mobile apps. And I had a podcast called Tap That App. So there's a little Easter egg for the D2C listeners to end this one, but go to Tapcart and check out what they have to offer. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming on today. This was fun.
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. If you're not a subscriber to our newsletter, you can do that right now at directtoconsumer.co. I'm Eric Dick, and this has been the D2C Podcast. We'll see you next time.